Hey!
Been there, done it, got the t-shirt. Hi guys, thanks very much for joining me again. Okay, it's been a week since I ran the 2023 official London Marathon, and I've had a little bit of time to reflect. I put out a short immediately after finishing the race saying that it was horrendous and I never want to do that again. So after a week and a little bit of reflection on the event itself, I just wanted to fill you in on what went really well and what I was really happy with, and what went pretty awfully and I wasn't too pleased with. So let's get into it, shall we? Right, things that went well. The absolute best thing about the London Marathon is the crowds. Honestly, I thought it was amazing in 2019. I was absolutely blown away by the support of the crowd. And just really nice weather in 2019. This year, it absolutely chucked it down, literally within the first mile. So it was drizzling pre-start in the sort of warm-up area, and then in the crowds before the actual official start, before making our way down to the start line. It was drizzling, a little bit spotting with rain, and then when we set off within the first mile, it absolutely chucked it down, the heavens opened and it was soaking wet. But the crowds were undeterred, honestly. The crowds were absolutely amazing, and there were so many more people on the route than there was in 2019, and I thought that couldn't be topped. But the crowds were absolutely incredible, so thank you very much for the crowd. And they played such a big part in my marathon, because I was going to quit. I'll come on to this a little bit on what went wrong, but yeah, they were absolutely incredible, and I have them to thank for actually finishing the race, actually completing the marathon distance, so thank you very much. My nutrition was absolutely spot on. I was really pleased with how that went. I took loads of the SIS gels, different flavours. Now I normally, if I go out on a run, even a long run, I normally go out fasted. So I normally go out first thing in the morning, and I don't normally eat before running. But I know from when I did the London Marathon in 2019, I got to about mile 14 and just felt my energy drain. I just disappeared. So I was fueled by jelly babies from the crowd, which was wonderful. So this time I took gels. I had a Cliff peanut butter flapjack before I went. That really set me up just that little bit, and then a gel on the start line was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Another thing that was good, I think I chose the right outfit. I had no issues with chafing or black toenails, anything like that. So I think that my shoes and my shorts and my top were absolutely spot on. I chose a long sleeve top, and I'm glad that I did, because it was a little bit chilly once it got wet, and because of the fabric that top was made out of, it was a Pressio top, and my tea bag top, it's got a texture like tea bag. But yeah, it got wet instantly, but it dried out really quickly, and that was absolutely brilliant. So I was really pleased that I was wearing that, and that came into its own for the cooler bits and also for drying out really fast. So that was muy grande, very good. My training leading up to the event went well. I did a 16-week training plan, and I pretty much stuck to it as much as I could. I had a little illness in there, so I had to take a week or just over a week off. and then I was frightened I was going to get an old injury flare up behind my right knee, so I backed off a little bit then. But generally the training was really good. 16-week plan, it was the official plan for the London Marathon, and yeah, really pleased with how that went. So what went wrong on the day? Well, grab yourself a cuppa, we might be here for a while. No, it wasn't all that bad, but the worst thing was my hips. I've never really had an issue with my hips before. I've had problems with my knee, my right knee, and I almost think that that is due to having tight hips. So I started doing yoga and stretching leading up to the event as part of my training plan. So training went really well, and the stretching I threw in as an extra and a bit of yoga and things like that. Trying to get deep stretching in, particularly where I needed it, and I feel that that really helped. However, on the day, got to about my 28 kilometres in, and my right hip just suddenly started feeling really tight, and it got uncomfortable really quickly as well. Like within a kilometre, you know, not even a mile, I went from being absolutely fine and actually thinking I might get a negative split. My energy levels were fantastic. I took some caffeine and electrolyte supplements, and they worked a treat. They felt fantastic, so I felt like I had loads of energy. So I definitely didn't hit the wall energy wise at all. I felt energized and, you know, really up for it and ready to go. But then, yeah, I started to get this discomfort, this tightness in my right hip, and so I was having to put a lot of weight and adjust my stride to put a lot more emphasis on my left leg. And as I was doing that, my left hip started to seize up as well. And it got to the point where I was thinking, you know, I can run through this, I can run through this. I've run through quite a, you know, difficult things before, and I just kept going, and I'm thinking I can get through this, I can get through this. And then all of a sudden I realised that I couldn't actually swing my legs, and my hips had seized up that much that I was shuffling, and I was in agony. It was so painful. So at about 30k, I realised that I just couldn't go on. In fact, it was probably a little bit further into the race than that. I'm not quite sure exactly where it was. I was just in absolute bits. I was in agony. I could hardly move my legs. I grabbed a handful of jelly babies, threw them down my neck, and I had to change the battery in my GoPro. That's another negative, GoPro. Anyway, I changed the battery. I bought 2 brand new batteries for it. One of them lasted all right. The other one lasted for one shoot, and that was it. But anyway, I put the fresh battery in my GoPro because I stopped at some sidings next to a sort of construction site where there was no crowd. And I got my GoPro out, changed the battery, and I was in bits. And I got my GoPro out to actually say that I quit. I couldn't go on. I was in so much pain, and it was horrible. 16 weeks of training and all the running that I've done and doing it previously, and I was on for a 4 hour. I did my halfway split was at 1 hour 57, so I only had a couple of minutes in the bank, but I was going for a negative. I've had so much energy, I was well up for it. And yeah, to then be in so much agony that I couldn't go on was pretty difficult. But when I got my GoPro out and started walking, and I turned it on to say, right, that's it, I'm done, I can't move my legs, I quit. A woman put her hands up like that going, woo, go on everybody. And I was a bit out of it, and I thought she was giving me a high five, so I grabbed the hand to high five it and sort of shook it. And then all the crowd started calling my name, and saying, "Go on, Ash, go on, Ash." And so I did. And unbelievably to me, I actually made it to the end, and I don't know how I did it. I didn't get the time I was after, but the crowds were so amazing, they were so inspirational, and they had so much energy. I could feed off their energy, and it got me round. I mean, I shuffled. I'll show you a graph now. I'll put a graph on and a little video of what happened when I got my GoPro out. Watch this.
Oh, my hips have seized up. Got up to halfway and it was fine. Give me a high five, thank you. Thank you. Oh, God. I can hardly walk. Thank you. Go on, Ash! Go on, Ash! Get on the camera! Crowd are brilliant.
Without those people, I'd have quit there and then. And I have no idea how I made it to the end, but I did. So thank you very much to the crowds of the London Marathon, because you got me to the end of the race. Without you, I'd have quit, definitely. So thank you very much. You deserve a round of applause all to yourself and a pat on the back, because you were just amazing. Thank you. So that graph, my sister was monitoring my progress on the app, and you can see by this I had level, my pacing, everything was absolutely spot on as it should have been, as I planned it. And that's when my hips came in, and you can see how much it went down. And there was people, I was only just overtaking people who were walking. I was shuffling that much. I actually finished in a faster time, a quicker time than I did in 2019. I don't know how that happened. I was walking and shuffling and grimacing and swearing under my breath just to try and keep moving. But I came out with a 7-minute better time than 2019. So, I mean, that's a massive positive, that's a massive plus. I still don't quite know how it happened, but it did. So that was good. So, did anyone else run the London Marathon? How did it go? I did see Ben Parks as well, who's a really famous British YouTuber runner. So that was really nice. I saw him going one way as I was going the other. And I did shout him, but he was in the zone, so I don't think he heard me. So what can I take away from this? Well, I can take away that my nutrition was great, the training plan was fantastic. I need to do more stretching. I need to work on my tight hips in particular, which I think then will help the whole lower body, the knees and the ankles and things like that. Would I ever do a marathon again? If you saw that short that I did saying it was horrendous and I would never do a marathon again immediately after the finish line, I might do a marathon again. If I did it again, I would do it in barefoot shoes. Big shout out to a guy called Neil as well, who is a subscriber to this channel. He did the London Marathon in Skinners, which, if anybody doesn't know, they're socks basically, running socks, but they are socks. So big thumbs up to Neil. He had a fantastic day as well. So yeah, I would take away some good things and some things to improve, and I might do a marathon again, but not for a little while. My body's still recovering a week on. So yeah, anyway, give us a like if you like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I've got an ultra marathon that I'll be doing in barefoot shoes in 2 weeks time. I hope I've recovered by then, and I hope it goes better than the end of this one, because there's no crowds along the route. So yeah, stay tuned, and I hope everybody's running is going well, and I will catch you all again very soon. Been there, done it, got the t-shirt.